Welcome to the Brave Healing Podcast. I am Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And here to help me with that today are four of the author experts of one of our upcoming books, Wholehearted Wonder Women, 50 Plus, Courage, Confidence, and Creativity at Any Age. Please help me welcome Yantra G, Pat Perrier, Kelly Storm, and Ghislaine Busquila to the show. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Hi,
Laura.
I'm so happy to have you here. Okay, you guys, so listen up. Yantra G is a therapist, artist, author, educator, and spiritual teacher, and the founder of Living Alignment. Pat Perrier is an author and yoga teacher and the owner of Just Breathe Yoga Studio in Crest Hill, Illinois. Kelly Storm is a self-love course facilitator, body positivity coach, and love and touch therapist, as well as the founder of Journey to Gorgeous. And Ghislaine Busquila developed the Conscious Energy Medicine Program. She's a kinesiologist, breath worker, and workshop facilitator. And you guys, please later, you can drop down into those show notes where I have you hooked up with all of their websites so you can explore, because you're going to want to after listening to these amazing women talk to you. So a quick thank you to Lulu Trevina. She's the lead author of this amazing book and the founder of Live Life with Wonder. We wouldn't be here without her. She is an amazing woman and she had a really cool vision for this book. Very honored to be guiding that for her and all of you. And authors, you're amazing. Thank you for being here. Thanks for saying yes to this and for offering up your vulnerable, authentic, badass stories. And y'all went a step ahead of that, further than that, and offered up a tool for women to read that you use to get where you are today. So we go on beyond the stories to the lessons and the tools, real life stuff that you guys have used and you've been successful with. I'm very excited to share these tools with the world. So Yantra, you ready to tell us a little bit about yourself and about this amazing chapter that you wrote?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Laura. So the chapter I wrote about, it's called When Death Comes, Finding Peace in the Face of Unimaginable Pain. As women at any age, we experience all kinds of death. So it might be the death of our relationships, friendships. It could be the death of our youth, our health, our vitality. We might have gone through divorce. It's also the death of our loved ones. And part of my story, just a snippet of my story, is actually shared in this book, different deaths I've experienced, including the death of my teenage son.
Mm. So you have to be pretty brave to pick this particular topic. Did you have a pull to write about this topic and why?
Yes. So when my son died, I actually started writing as a journal writing, and I always thought I'd write a book about death. And my journey has taken me in a different direction, writing other things. But when Lulu talked to me, it wasn't even so much what she shared about the book, but this writing about death, how in our society we don't tend to meet death. We run away from it, any kind of death, we hide from it. And there's a way that we can be really present with whatever's here. And however we live our life, we can be present with whatever's here.
I think that's an incredible gift that you give to people, to even just share the moments of, first of all, your personal life with others, because, you know, there's healing in that storytelling for both you and the reader. Really, that's part of the mission behind these kinds of books. But I think that people are taught a certain way to feel and be around death, right?
Yeah, absolutely. People all over the world are taught to move away from pain. It's a natural part of our survival instinct as a human being. And so in the moving away from pain, we also move away from death. And what that does is it moves us away from love, and it moves us away from life. And so the more we're with life, the more we can love, really love each other. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. What a topic to start this conversation off with today, right? Oh my gosh, I get so full with your all of your stories, but I feel the passion coming through and really the lifelong journey that's behind these chapters. It's pretty amazing. Thank you, Yantra.
Thank you so much.
Pat, talk to me about your chapter.
Okay. So, well, first off, I want to say that I had an extra special time with this book because I was chosen to edit about 50% of the authors. So I have been truly blessed with this to read the stories of the women here and several others because I had goosebumps more than I did not. And so that I was really honored to be able to see your words and to help you refine them just a hair. And I appreciate your trust in letting me do that because it's a big thing to hand your words over to someone else. But my story comes from being the good girl, being quiet and letting people tell me what I was pretty sure wasn't right until I found myself on the floor at work, looking up at the ceiling going, I wasn't here a minute ago. And then in the emergency room in the hospital for 4 days. Because I did not trust my own intuition enough to say to someone, this is wrong. You need to pay attention to me.
Oh, recovering good girl, anyone?
They have white coats, they know, and it's like, no, I'm hauling this body around. I know probably more than I don't know more medicine, but I know this body well.
I so appreciated the scenes in your chapter that were about that. That is definitely part of my story as well. And I'll just back up to what you said about being able to read the chapters. Y'all, I sit at home reading these like first before everyone else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to share this story with everybody. And I just do that over and over again. So y'all can imagine me in my little desk getting very excited as I'm reading these, like Pat was saying, feels like an incredible honor, really. Pat, speaking up for yourself, especially at the doctor's office with authority figures, right? Talk to me about how you moved through that.
I had an issue with atrial fibrillation, and I was told for years that it's just part of menopause. You're in your 50s, things are going to go wonky, and you should just kind of live through it. And, you're a yoga teacher, so just keep breathing through it and it'll all be okay. Well, it wasn't. And I had some failures of the medications, and I finally got to a frustration point listening to my cardiologist, my electrophysiologist. That's the guy that's the, electrician for the heart. And he was explaining what he was going to do to me and talking rapid fire and telling me how this was going to blah, 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 blah. And I reached over and I went with his tie and I said, you need to stop. And he just was, I said, look, this, you do this procedure to people that are 20 and 30 years older than me. I was 53 at the time. I'm 53. I'm scared witless and I can't understand you. You need to stop. You need to start over slowly and let me absorb this. And I think I don't know what possessed me to reach over and kind of go thwink with his tie, but it stopped him and I got what I wanted. So it worked.
I'm pretty sure I cheered out loud when I read that part of your chapter. If only I had the balls to do something like that in the multiple doctor's offices. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Pat, for writing about that, really. I'm going to move to Kelly for a moment now. Kelly, talk to us about your chapter. Your chapter moved me in an intense way. The scene that you brought in, oh my gosh, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to let you talk about it. Go for it.
It was such an honor to write. I'm chapter 2. It's called Being Gorgeous, Falling in Love with Yourself Right Now. And it stemmed from a life of being a fat kid, being shamed by family and friends at school without even really anybody understanding it. And it wasn't until quite recently, I'm 55, almost 56, and it was probably only in the last 5 or 6 years that I got really clear that you can be gorgeous at any age and at any size. And I wanted to make sure, it's like a volcano erupting in me, that I need to tell women to stop wasting their life wishing that they looked a different way, because that's what I did. And I'm done, completely done. And it's a powerful thing to have conversations and train and talk to women that are really willing to give it up now, to watch the process happen. And it can happen quite quickly. I'm committed that it doesn't take 50 years for women to stop this. So I had a lot of fun writing the book. The chapter, it was amazing. Thank you so much. And there's a little story in there about Lulu, because Lulu, our lead author, was my yoga teacher many, many years ago when she lived in Australia. And you'll read there's something that happens with being a student of Lulu that leads me on this path. So I'm really excited. Yeah. So thank you, Laura. And Pat was my first editor. I've not written in a book before, and this has been incredible. And now I just know I'll never stop. So thank you.
Your chapter was awesome. And, it brings to, I'm gray, and the flack I got for going gray. And I'm like,
Oh.
and especially from bald guys, I'm like, dudes, I have hair.
The things we put up with, really.
Well, you had me, of course, this book is, 50 plus, but you had me thinking about my teenage daughter quite a bit during your chapter as well, and where that starts. And I thought a lot about how we might bring a chapter like that to an age group that really needs, to start off with that mindset, right?
Absolutely. It's been on my mind a lot that I need to develop something that's particularly for younger women, because that's when it starts. One of the questions I ask women is, what age were you when you stopped loving yourself?
Yeah, powerful question.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Ghislaine, talk to me about your amazing chapter.
I'm so excited to be part of this book, and when I'm hearing everyone talking now, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a powerful book. So I'm chapter 6, and my chapter is called "Healing is a Love Affair: The Path, the Truth, the Life." It's a little bit of the hero's journey. And I think when we've reached 50 plus, we get to that part when we're able to live the life that we want, that we always wanted to live, but things got in the way, self-image and grief, and for me it was illness. So my body has been my teacher, telling me along the way when I was in my truth and when I wasn't. So I've recovered from a few chronic illnesses, Crohn's disease, Lyme's disease, and each time it was just to put me back on my path, on my journey.
I'm thinking about body awareness. I'm going to talk to all of you in a minute or two about awareness in general, but body awareness specifically, to listen to the messages and really understand the language, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's interesting is I was thinking, Kelly, you shared about Lulu, and also for me, I met Lulu at the children's school. They used to go to a Steiner school, and she used to organize a breathwork group. And I was always, my own birth had been so terrible that thinking about doing rebirthing breathwork was the last thing I wanted to do. But seeing them all coming out of their groups, when they used to go, coming back to picking up the children and being so alive, and so like they would look like they were 20 years younger. And now again, here is Lulu coming back in my life to say, hey, do you want to write a chapter in the book? So I'm thinking it's interesting how people just get you to the next level, even though we're not in the same country now. But I think Lulu has that power to put people together.
And I totally really forgot to mention, this is a pretty special group of women today for this this show. Gillen, where are you zooming in from today?
I'm from Sydney, Australia.
And Yantra, how about you?
Yes, from the Central Coast in Australia.
And Kelly?
Yeah, I'm also in Sydney, Australia.
I've got all the Aussies with me tonight, you guys. Pat, where are you zooming in from?
I am southwest of Chicago, Illinois.
And
out in the country.
I am here in the DC area. So we have an amazing global group of authors in general, but here tonight for sure. Okay, so Gillen, I'm actually going to stick with you for a minute for this next question. So what is the best thing about being 50 plus?
Oh, I think it's the freedom that comes with being 50. I mean, for me on a personal level, I've got to where I'd like to go in life, in raising children. They're all now young adults. And it's more about playing with life and experiencing. And now, the wisdom that I've, at 50, you have a certain amount of wisdom that I've acquired through all my experiences. I feel that now it's time to give that back, hand that to whoever would like to benefit from it. So it's that time of life where you're just giving what you've received all along, what you've understood.
I love that, and that's a good feeling, isn't it?
Mm.
Kelly, how about you? What's the best thing about being 50 plus?
I want to say a swear word, but I'll be careful not to.
You're allowed. You're allowed.
Can I? For me, it's absolutely learning not to give a shit. It's about noticing my past and how much I cared and worried and thought and becoming to the realization that it's a waste of time. So it's a coming into the present. It's watching my children grow, but really it's not giving a crap.
Anyone? If that's another one, because recovering good girl leads to not giving a shit sooner or later. Yes, totally resonate with that. I mean, you get over something along the way when you realize it's your own heart you should be listening to and not everybody else's, right?
Whoa, that's totally it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is a fabulous, fabulous feeling. That allows what Gillen said about, I feel like I can play now.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the word.
weight.
Now it's playtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Pat, you got anything to add to that? What's the best thing?
Well, here's the thing. I was always told you can't say or do X, Y, or Z because you are not old enough. People won't take you seriously.
Interesting.
So I'm the oldest kid. So I will say I was the bully. I was in charge. You all had to do what I said because that's what mom said. But I will also say about the time I hit 40, I was like, I'm kind of over that. And I'm 63. I have had a long kind of windy path to where I'm at. I own a business. I get to edit beautiful words for people. I get to give people the gift of these tools to help them, whether you're showing up in my yoga class or you're reading the chapter I wrote. My kids are awesome. My husband is like my anchor, and I can do what I want, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Unless, of course, it's illegal, but you know, I'll grant you that. But I know myself. I know where I know where I'm aiming to be. I'm willing to accept the curving that takes me there. And it's like, just kind of, thank you, get out of my way.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes. Yes to, oh my gosh, to everything you all are saying about that. Those are all my favorite things. Yantra, how about you?
Yeah, so just in reflecting now and listening to what you're all sharing, when I turned 50, my actual birthday, turning 50, and I'm 55, turning 56, 2 weeks before, I'd been nursing my closest friend who died literally just before I turned 50. And the turning 50 was so a very intense, emotional, full time. But reflecting now, when you ask that question, is that life is so timeless that I don't think of being a particular age. And maybe that's what happens when we turn 50, is that we're not concerned anymore. We've lived through so much, whatever that is, and still, of course, so much life here at the age of 50. But the blessing is that this life is so timeless. It's precious, timeless.
It is precious. And I think that that's the important thing, because listening collectively, my dad died when he was 59. So when I hit 59, that was a very hard year for me. And then I hit 60 and I was like, wow, I'm older than my parent. You know, so you realize the preciousness of what you have and the wisdom, to everybody's point, the wisdom you've acquired and the wisdom you have yet to acquire.
Yeah.
I've never minded sharing my age of 53. And I loved that Lulu had us put it in the bio, or in the, where did we put it? You know where we put it, in the
Right
chapter.
next to our names.
Yes. I love that. And, 53 going on 18 was my answer because of that. Like, I never feel a number. It's just always the energy with which you move around in the world. And that energy can be so much greater later than it was. So anyone who's listening, you're worried about getting older, don't worry at all. All the good stuff happens
Yep.
after 50. Oh my goodness. So Kelly, I'm going to start with you for this next question. I think that awareness is everything. Literally, it's the magic, it's the healing. When you are present in the moment and practicing awareness, you get a choice. And essentially, all of you have shared beautiful awareness tools. And you're also in your stories sharing your own awarenesses of your life and everything that was going on and the choices you made. So I'm a little bit in love with this particular topic. Talk to me about your personal journey. How did awareness play a part for you?
I agree also, Laura, that awareness was everything. And I think Lulu had a lot to do with that many, many years ago as well, when she introduced me to my first personal development program. And it was a full weekend, days and nights. And I think one of the biggest things that I got out of that is that you can't acknowledge or change anything until you're aware of what you're doing and who you are being. And I took it on like a cloak, I think, and it's just stayed with me my entire life. I try to be present in every moment of every emotion, in sadness, and you know, the things that I wrote about in the book were me transforming from a fat kid and a fat mum, and realizing that fat didn't necessarily mean bad. And I stopped comparing and started becoming aware of who I was as a person. So it's a big question for me. Awareness is everything. It comes in every conversation. It's being aware the way that you're speaking. It's communication is everything for me. I think everything can be solved in communication, but you have to be aware of the way you're speaking, the way your words land. And of course, body awareness for me is everything. It's my business, it's my life, it's how I raise my children. There's so much involved in being aware of what you look like. And like you guys were saying, Ghislaine, particularly your health and listening to your body. And it's just being, you know, noticing every moment that you are aware of the way your words are landing, the way you show up in the world, the way you feel, acknowledging the pain, or whether it be emotional or physical in your body. It's everything. I don't know. It's a massive question.
I know it is.
Yeah, I love awareness. It's actually the first stage in my conscious energy medicine practice is to be aware, because how can you know that there's something wrong, or that you're not well? How can you own who you are if you're not aware of what's going on for yourself? So it's the first step to healing. It's the first step to grounding. It's the first step to honesty. Like if I'm not aware about how I'm feeling, I'm just going to project that to someone else. But if everyone, was to take that responsibility, and that means being able to respond around how I'm feeling today, then I know what it is that I need in order to be whole. So I'm not becoming dependent, or I'm not asking others to, to complete me, others or the world either. Just me. I know that what I need, I can give to myself, but I need to be aware of what it is first.
Yes.
So I guess,
Yes.
that's the principle in most meditation, is awareness, being aware of around what's going on.
Oh
for
my
yourself.
gosh, yes. Yeah, favorite topic ever, you guys.
Yeah.
Could talk about this all night long. It's Kelly, you said something about being aware of comparison, and I heard that. I think that there are many things, and that's one of them. When you catch yourself in the mindset of, I call it, comparisonitis. Like when you have that, you need to wake yourself up inside of it and choose something better,
It's the killer of joy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So Yantra, talk to me about your personal journey with awareness.
Yeah, so it feels like when I was a really, really young child, that my body wanted to do yoga, and it actually had this awareness that I seemed to come in with, even though I'd never heard of yoga. My parents had never heard of yoga. We hadn't been to India. We just had the usual religious upbringing. And so all through my life, awareness has been key. And I so love, Laura, that you said awareness is everything, because awareness really is everything. And, right now we're hearing about war and praying for peace. And if we're not aware of our internal conflict, if we're not aware of where we have hidden hatred, if we're not aware of harm and hurt inside ourselves, we're constantly projecting that out. And we're projecting it out not just on another who's close to us, but everywhere. So this really, I just so love that you said that awareness is everything. And so awareness is what will lead us to discover peace that's already here, the love that's already here, and the freedom really that we long for.
Ah, yes. Yes, with the exclamation point. That's my little extra there. Pat, what do you want to add to that?
Yantra's a hard act to follow. And so here's the thing. I wrote chapter 21, Healing from the Heart, Reclaiming Your I-ness. And as a yoga teacher, of course, everyone settle in an easy seat and become aware of your breath, right? How many yoga classes have we all opened with in that particular manner? I think that what I've learned is not only being able to read other folks' signals in terms of even a casual conversation better as I get older, but also that awareness of when I say I need or this is something, it's not necessarily just my perception. It is what is going on. And I think that for women in this group, 50s on, we are discounted, at least in the American medical system, because most tests on drugs are done on men. We're discounted in the emergency room because we're not men. We're discounted, societally in many ways, even though, because we're still 74 cents to the dollar or something of what a man makes. And I'm not bashing them. I raised two men. I'm married to one, but we have to stand on our feet and raise our voices.
Yes.
And we have to come aware of our own power when we come together collectively as women. We are a freaking force of nature, ladies. And we have to learn to use it. When I first started speaking up, I say in my chapter, I didn't quite know what to do with all that of power. And I had to learn what I could get away with, essentially. But collectively as women in this book, in our lives, in our communities, banding together, to Yantra's point, banding together, we can change the world on so many levels.
Yes.
I feel it in the book, every chapter that I read. I feel that when I'm with you all right now. I feel it anytime there's a powerful collaboration, among women. I love that, Pat. Thank you. Gillen, did you have anything you wanted to add about awareness?
No, not really. Just that really awareness is key. Awareness is everything. It's being aware, I think, also part of our power. And I feel that for women, our power is different than the power of men. And our power comes through gentleness and being together and respecting who we are and respecting each other as women also is very important.
Absolutely.
And books like this one, written by women, for women, 50 plus, but also I'm hoping that other women with, teenagers, young adults will read it, because there is so much to gain from the wisdom of women, and women that are owning their wisdom, that have been touched enough by life that, they had to transform something in their lives, something that wasn't right for them, going right in their lives.
Yes.
And that's sacred power. I think women's power is sacred power.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt. Ladies, I have one last question for you. I really think that this particular group has taken the idea of self-care, this hot topic that we hear all over the place, right? But y'all have taken it to another level. You've helped people understand that this is foundational, not a luxury, but foundational to our ability to serve like we do. And so Pat, I'm coming back to you to start this one off. Talk to me about one of your favorite ways to take care of yourself.
I, of course, being in this part of Illinois I'm in, we do have 4, maybe 5 distinct seasons. So when I am able to, I like to go out into my garden. And I like to go out into my garden barefoot. And I like to stand there. I like to listen to the birds. I'll look at my flowers. I'll look at the vegetables. And in the winter, when the snow is up to my knees, I will go out into that garden area in my boots and just listen to the snow. Listen to the snow on the trees, listen to the cushioning that it gives to the ambient noises in my neighborhood.
I love that one. Have y'all read the book Earthing? And putting those bare feet on the dirt and the grass and the sand and whatever you can get that's not concrete.
Yeah.
I love that. There's a real feel to being able to touch the earth that way.
I did have to chuckle when I first saw that book because I thought, I've been doing that since I could walk.
Right? Yes.
I should have written the book myself, but I didn't. Missed out on that one.
Well, yeah, that was an interesting one for me, but it only because there was somebody putting science to it. And the electrons, the neutrons, whatever those trons were, they were moving because I decided to take my shoes off and get my skin on the earth. I just love the idea of that vibration changing just from that,
Absolutely.
So Ghislaine, talk to me. What's one of your very favorite ways to take care of yourself?
Slow down time. When I feel that time is going too fast, I just slow down time and I put myself in a little capsule of self-love, of relaxation. I might have, a bath with Epsom salt and some lavender. I might go for a walk. There's not one precise thing, but it's just letting go of the outside world and coming into my world. And pretending that there's nothing urgent. There's, just making time, slowing down. That's how I self-care.
I love that. That's you're making me realize that's one of mine, but I think I don't do it enough consciously. I feel like I do it when I need to do it, but what if I did it before I needed it?
Yeah.
Awareness.
Yes, exactly.
That's when the awareness comes in.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Yantra, how about you? What do you do?
Yeah, so I don't differentiate self-care from living. So self-care is also everything. And self-care for me then is awareness. I talk about in the chapter, and I didn't mention it was chapter 4, in chapter 4 about stopping, pausing. And it's not so much about blocking out life, it's being with, so still, so quiet now, whether that's in nature, whether it's in prayer, in devotion, in meditation, or with music, or outside or inside, or at the computer, or with the tea. Everything then becomes self-care. And I know I didn't share this in the chapter, but when as women or men or children, anyone, when we can really see that self-care is everything, every breath, every moment, every movement, the ripple effect of this is huge. It's absolutely huge. It's not negotiable was the word that I kept hearing. It's not negotiable because it is all of life.
Yeah, world changing. Definitely. Kelly, how about you?
It's my world, really. Self-love. I think self-care doesn't come without self-love. So I have a bath. There's so many things that I do, but a bath is my everything. I lay in the bath. I noticed how much I love a bath now when I see my naked body with its rolls and stretch marks and hairy legs sometimes, and all of the things that I haven't done that I thought was such a horrible thing not to do in the past. I realize how many times in my life I didn't have a bath because my body is so visible in a bath. So now I take such pride, and I do all of the things that you guys have mentioned. You know, I listen to nature in the bath, I listen to music, I read a book, I catch up on my phone, I meditate, I sleep. It's my ultimate. It just stops me from moving and gets me really present and aware. So a bath is my thing.
I think all of us should start our day with a self-care practice.
Absolutely.
The world really would be different if everyone was to do that. I definitely do that every day. This is how I start my day. I take care of myself, so then I can take care of whatever is coming to me during the day. Yeah.
Yep. Morning cup of tea and scritching my older dog's chin.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, because you know, she's 14. She comes, she knows when mom gets up and grabs that hot thing, she's not sure what it is, but it's hot, and sits in her chair, she goes like this, and I, you know, for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then she's like, okay, now you can start your day. And off she waddles, and I'm good to go.
They're smart, those animals.
Yes.
Oh, ladies, listen, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do in the world. And thank you for being here to share it with me and everyone else. I want you guys to know that you, of course, will be hooked up with all of the websites of all of our authors. Yantra, Pat, Kelly, Ghislaine, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you so much, Laura,
Thank you so much
for your
having us.
productions and all you do.
Thank you for arranging this. It was so nice to put faces to names. I mean, we see each other on social media, but to have this time together is precious.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
Thank you so much.
To everybody listening, you are going to want to join us on June 8th on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page at 9:30 Eastern for our live stream book launch party. And we're going to have all of our authors there to share their wisdom. And we're going to have some really wonderful giveaways for our book purchasers that day. Of course, if you're listening to this after June 8th, well, that means you can go over to Amazon right now and grab your copy. But it'll be ready on June 8th. And don't forget, for a little after hours connection with our authors, you guys, you can come to the Wholehearted Wonder Women 50+ global community group on Facebook. Our authors are there answering questions, and you can rub elbows with them and ask them after you read their amazing chapters. You're going to want to do that, but you can go into that group right now and start to get the feel of this beautiful book. And lastly, tonight, you guys, just remember, you were born, so you are worthy. Your message matters. What if the thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? It's time to be brave. See you next time, ladies.
Thank you, Laura. See you.
Bye.
Bye.